Hello guys, welcome back to the show, and on today's show, Ipswich are back in the Premier League and we have a bumper playoff special for you. Hello guys, welcome back to the Sportsman title, brought to you by Betfred, a bumper playoff special for you, as I mentioned, and it means we've got together a star-studded panel. Benjamin Bloom's helping back in the Premier League do the co-hosting duties, but we have Matt from Boro Breakdown representing Middlesbrough, representing Hull. Sounds like a boxing intro, doesn't it? To Hull and back, William Young. We've got Football Martin from Southampton and Chat with Chaps, our Millwall representative. I think we have to start, guys, before we get into the playoffs, with Ipswich Town. Ben, over the line on the final day, very comfortable, job done in 10 minutes. Ipswich back in the Premier League.
Yeah, comfortable on final day, but not necessarily comfortable throughout the season. I think Matt could be sat in this seat if we hadn't seen the kind of Millwall collapse. But Millwall collapse, Middlesbrough collapse. Done that so many times this season with all these M's. But it's a race, and they were good enough, and 84 points was enough this season. And I'm sure there are other narratives that other people would have found more satisfying. But McKenna said it was his hardest promotion, and there is kind of an argument to that with the churn and the unique first world problems you have as a year one parachute team.
Bit jealous of Ipswich on the final day. I know Millwall ended up the closest. Middlesbrough will probably come to as well. Should potentially have finished in the top two, didn't make it happen. It was kind of done and dusted on the final day quite quickly though.
It was, and obviously to go 2-0 up in 10 minutes, I think everyone around the den knew basically what that meant. And I think you could see it transpire on the pitch. But we did what we had to do. We won the game. It was a comfortable victory against a side that were already relegated. But I think it was important for us to win that game to make sure, as we're going to talk about, second game at the den. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Keep away from that lot.
Yeah, that too.
Exactly. From a Borough perspective, I mean, the season kind of ran away with you in terms of finishing in the top two. It wasn't the last few weeks that's done it, was it?
No, it was a a spell of winless home games through February, March. We seemed to do all the heavy lifting when we had trips to Birmingham, QPR. We got a great result at Sheffield United. We peaked top of the league and we thought we had a great run to the end. But just some really freak results and disappointing drop points, individual errors. Yeah, made the job a lot more difficult for us. To lose out in second is tough, albeit I know Ipswich have the superior squad and maybe you can accept that, but to then finish fifth and have Southampton, who you arguably want to avoid, and have to obviously go at St Mary's second, it's the worst case scenario, I guess, from where we were, but yeah, it is what it is. We've got to pick ourselves up and go again.
We'll come to Hull in a second, which was the story of the final day. I wanted to come back to Ipswich though, Ben, because I've got a stat. Dara O'Shea, how good has he been? Apparently he's played every second of the league season this season and not been booked. Incredible.
Well, I know the comments are going to be telling me about a pullback by Dara O'Shea on the Charlton player 2 games from the end of the season that probably should be a yellow card. Matasiwa was voted the player of the year that I would have Dara O'Shea, and he's a little bit tarred with the guy who goes up to the Premier League and gets relegated and then is a bit of a boss at Championship level. But he's been absolutely fantastic for us, and brilliant moment where the camera got the huddle before the first win against Norwich in 2,000 years or whatever it was. And he's been an absolutely superb leader. And you know as well as I do that 46 games for an outfield player, regardless of the yellow card stuff, is incredible.
That is absolutely amazing. I wanted to open this up to the panel, by the way, because there were a few parades and celebrations going on this weekend. I know we've had a little dig at Ipswich prior to this, but what do we make of the trophy for second, first of all, Chris, and then the bus parade for finishing second in the Championship?
I mean, I speak out both sides of my mouth and say, it's a disgrace. I would never do that. And then, of course, if Millwall had, I would have been like, let's go. So, no, look, I think it's one of them. How do you have a trophy for finishing the playoff winner but not second?
But my argument for that is if you win the playoffs, you've
Separate
won
tournament,
something.
yeah.
It's a mini cup competition.
Yeah,
if you
maybe.
finish second, you've not won anything.
True. Look, I think if it was Millwall, I would want to have had that moment. So, I can sit here and...
It's theatre, Chris, isn't it?
Of course it is.
It's fun and games. Isn't it?
Yeah, good to see celebrations in the streets from both Coventry and Ipswich, and that's the only time we'll mention Coventry in this show, Ben, and we won't talk about Ipswich.
I bet
any
it's
longer.
not. I absolutely bet
We're going to bring it up.
What about our biggest fears, I guess, for both of us heading into the season? Is it the manager issue in terms of where they may go in the Premier League for Kieran McKenna and Frank Lampard, or is it not really a concern?
That is a concern because it seems to happen every summer with McKenna. I think the bigger concern is just from an Ipswich point of view, is just the kind of inertia thing. That Coventry, it's all fresh and lovely, and maybe Martin can speak to this as well. That if you've been there and there's a little bit of here we go again type thing, whereas you're going to be up for it and the stadium's going to be bouncing. Whereas if Ipswich get some hard fixtures in August and lose them heavily, there is that sense of dread. But let's not go into that now because we've got a lovely summer celebration ahead.
We certainly have, and we need to talk about the final day drama at Hull City because one of the stories of the season, Will, one of the most surprising factors, and even going into the final day, felt like Hull were underdogs with a tough fixture, came back against Norwich, won, saw Wrexham and Derby slip out of it. You must be on top of the moon to even be in this conversation of the playoffs.
What a ridiculous day it was. Because, even at half-time when Derby were winning and we were losing and we hadn't played very well, it was over. It definitely felt like that in the stadium, and just the way that the lads came back out in the second half, and it was the best they've played in weeks. And it had to be Ollie McBurney as well. It had to be him. And it's ridiculous. I've never heard the MKM that loud in years at least. It was ridiculous to see. And like I said, the fact that we were probably, most people I think had us down as a relegation fight at the start of the season, we're under a transfer embargo. To expect this would have been just ridiculous. So everything now was a fantastic bonus.
But what was it for me was that you were in such bad form, and that's why everyone had written off. When was the last time you won before Saturday? It was ridiculous.
Sheffield Wednesday, and that was I think 8 games ago.
Yeah. And yet you've still got over the line and done it, and now you are in this, as Ben's alluded to.
When we played Sheffield United, we could have been on 7 points clear, and that was about 5 games ago. Could have gone 7 points clear in the playoffs, so we did nearly throw it away. But typical of our club to do it the hard way.
And Martin, I want to come to you because it feels like Wrexham missing out is quite a big conversation, and we've talked about Wrexham a lot this season. As a playoff team, are you kind of relieved Wrexham have missed out in terms of what they could bring to the party?
Not really. We were really good against Wrexham and we comfortably beat them down at the racecourse. I was keeping a close eye on Boro. If they'd been in there, I think the Middlesbrough game for us is a tough fixture. Either would have been tough, and I think everybody raises levels when you go into the playoff campaign, and it's who turns up on the day. But Wrexham, maybe I would have fancied them, but I think we'd take anyone.
Do you think it's a bit of a disappointment from Wrexham to miss out on the playoffs, given where they were then?
If you look across the season, Hull kind of deserved to be in there. If you're tracking the graph of, who's been in the top 6, for the longest, I'm sure certain TV producers would have preferred Wrexham to be in there. I've got to say, for Wrexham and Derby, it's not the worst thing in the world to develop, for another season. They're both. Derby have got some sense of stability. Wrexham, how can you really be stable when you've gone back to back promotions? But look, would you be that surprised if both of those sides were in a higher position than 7th or 8th next season? You wouldn't, would you? So, and I think Hull's the story, isn't it? And there was I know they were 8th and they did it in a very Hull way for this season, but I think in the cold light of day, Wrexham and Derby fans will be excited about next season.
And I mentioned it last week, by the way. If the next season's playoff rules had been in place this year, we wouldn't have got any of this final day drama. So when they've tried to add drama, all of the top 8 would have been in anyway. So a point to consider there.
I know Hull would have tried to get themselves out of it.
We'd have done our best, definitely. To be fair to Derby, they, like us last season, stayed up on the final day. So they've had a really good season that's kind of gone under the radar as well. So fair play to them, and obviously Eustace there done a great job.
Yeah. Southampton come into the playoffs in flying form. 19 league games unbeaten, last league defeat January 17th. Tonderek, I noticed in his little pre-match or post-match press conference, said it doesn't make a difference now in the playoffs. How are you feeling as a Southampton fan? Because you are the favourites at the moment to win the playoffs. With Betfred, it's 15-8.
Yeah, I feel that there's a bit of pressure on us now. There hasn't been, has there? You know, we've been playing catch up for a long time. You know, when Tonda come in, we were 18th in the division. We had a terrible start under Will Steele, and he won the 2 games, and he's took us a long way in a very short space of time. So the pressure is on us because we've been so good since Hull defeated us at St Mary's. That was the last defeat for Eckert. And the home record's been phenomenal. It's his only defeat as coach in the interim period, and been as the full-time head coach. He's done phenomenal. I think we've got the squad to do it. I like the way he rotates the squad as well. I think he's got options all over the park. He look at every position. He's got 2 players available. So if we were to pick up injuries as it went, I think he can deal with it. But tactically, he's been so good. I love the way that he's just took one game at a time. He had a little bit of a wobble over Christmas, I'll be honest, because I thought over Christmas he was looking too far ahead in terms of his team selection. And I think he's learnt a lot from that run he had, because he had a real wobble. And ever since Sheffield United at home, he's gone to the flat 4 at the back. Has made a big difference. James Bree come back from Charlton. Great move that was. A decent goalkeeper. You cannot underestimate a decent goalkeeper this level.
Decent. Outstanding.
He's brilliant, isn't it? And you look at your goalkeeper, Rushworth. They're worth points, good goalkeepers, and in big moments, you know, he was superb at Wembley against Man City a couple of weeks ago. I think he'd be key, but brought in Laren up top as well. He's been a great addition. Yeah. I think we're in a really good spot going into this, but we can't be complacent, and you can't take anyone for granted, really. And you look at Boro, yeah, they've had a bit of a wobble, but they found a bit of form. So you have to give them respect.
Just while we're on goalkeepers, let's just get a reaction of these 4. If I say penalty shootout.
Not worried about the keeper, I'm more worried about the other players. It's funny you talk about goalkeeper, though, because I think that Southampton addressed their goalkeeper in January.
And we had to.
Millwall did. And then when you look at sides like Wrexham and Birmingham and Derby that are maybe on the periphery, it'd be good to get the fault to the fans on that. But I think that's possibly where they're a little bit weaker. Mm-hmm. Wrexham have had goalkeepers come in and come out. And I saw Ben look at
Matt on this one, yeah.
Yeah, there's I would say there's a little bit of a doubt on Solbrin. It's a difficult one because he's one of our own. He's a Teesside lad, and he's worked really hard. He's had a couple of really good loan spells. He was at Leyton Orient, did really well. I think he picked up their player of the season. Deserved his chance to be Borough's number 1, and he's not been bad. He has the odd individual error. Maybe he's a little bit indecisive at times, but also can pull off some incredible saves. I mean, we had the game at Stoke a couple of months ago where we could have been 2-0 down. He makes a fantastic save, tips that onto the bar. Without that, we wouldn't have came back to win that game. Penalty save when we played Ipswich at the Riverside earlier in the season. So he's a bit of an unknown quantity. Bruni could step up in the big game, make himself an absolute hero, but he is on the young side for a goalkeeper. He is, entering his prime, and we don't quite know what to expect from him in them big game moments, because it's new for him, this level, playing in the playoffs. So you were talking about your goalkeeper, Pretz. Is it Pretz?
Yeah, Daniel Pretz.
I think that's a good point to make, because if you go back to January, I think it's one thing that we look at is we maybe didn't add important players at both ends of the pitch in both boxes, which is where I think we've struggled. I think when you've brought in Laren and brought in Pretz, that's made such a difference, and there's an argument we maybe could have looked at doing similar.
I think that's fair. I think that's very fair indeed. Ben, we've got some news for everyone watching. Myself and Benjamin Bloom are doing live watch-alongs for every single playoff game, starting on Friday night. We're going to be doing first legs, second legs, and we'll have some guests with us as well. So tune in, like and subscribe to The Sportsman. Put your notification bell on, because we'll be live every single game, Ben. We're going to have a wonderful time, aren't we?
As an EFL enthusiast, I cannot believe I get to do this. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. I can't wait.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have to hang out with me for a couple of nights, but that's part of it.
I'll take it. Your smugness levels have dropped, and Chris has straightened you up quite nicely today. with some stats.
Yeah, some big stats. Yeah. Right, let's preview these playoff semi-finals. We're going to start with Friday night's game, Hull versus Millwall. We're going to preview both legs, who we think is going to come out on top, and we'll do our predictions at the end of the video. So stay tuned for them as well. Interesting for you boys, I think, is the fixtures you've already played against each other this season, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, both 3-1 reverse fixtures, and I think you can probably make arguments for you could actually probably flip both of those results in terms of how the games actually planned out. I think we played Hull at the Den at a time where we had a number of injuries to key players. Aziz was sent off. Hull blew us away in the first 10-15 minutes.
Early on, after 20 minutes, it was 2-0, I think, and we just smashed it early on. But you came back into it. But I think the Aziz red card really sort of made it a bit tricky for yourselves.
It did, yeah, and then I think it's probably fair to say that Liam Miller should have been sent off in that game as well. So look, I think it was harsh on us to lose that game, but then you flip it and we go to Hull and win 3-1, and I don't really know how we did that. I think that was a result that I'm sure Will will agree that was a little bit of a surprise. So I think it's actually difficult to read too much into the head-to-heads. I don't know what you think, Will.
Yeah, I agree with you there on that one there, because we're so close in terms of how the games have gone. Yeah, that game at our place, I don't know how we didn't win it. We had so many chances, didn't take them. We had a goal disallowed for Carl Joseph. And
it's not that whole this season, not taking your chances. Usually
well,
very efficient, eh?
That's the thing. That's kind of when our poor run started. It was around the Millwall game. It was around the Millwall game when we went ahead, and we should have gone ahead even more so when Carl just had a goal disallowed for a foul on the keeper, and it wasn't a foul. But to be fair, like, we didn't take our chances. Millwall bounced back and they scored a couple of goals on the break, and fair play to them, because that's what we had been done for several teams this season. They did it to us.
Just quickly, Simon, you've spoken about the odds. You realise the head-to-head in games between these four, 12 points, 10 points, 2 points.
Wow.
0 wins and 2 draws. I know Martin will just bring up a 19-game undefeated streak, but yeah, the head-to-head's been interesting, although we do have Rob Edwards versus Will Still in one of the games, so I don't know how much credence we pay to that.
How much do we take from that?
I don't mean you take loads from it. I
thought you might say that.
Yeah, I watched them back actually. On my travels today, I sat back and watched the 10-minute highlights of both games. And our side looked so different to when we played you at the Riverside. It was around January time.
Yeah, start of January.
Yeah, he scored, 3 goals in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Blew us away. Bazunu in goal, didn't have a particularly good game. We played with a back three there. We played with a back three in all the games. We're wing backs. Tom Fellows, one of the best attacking wingers in the division, played right wing back for a long period of time under Will Still. And it took Eckert a while to change his system. So yeah, I think you'll see a very different Saints side. Adam Armstrong up front, we play a totally different way now. We can go direct, we can go short, and we play into midfield into Yander, and Yander's levels above where he was back in January. So I don't read much into those fixtures at all.
Let me bring it back to Hull versus Millwall. We've got to talk about Millwall's away form, Chris, and how you think that will help them out in this playoff, obviously two-legged tie, best in the league.
Yeah, I think it's just been incredible. You know, Millwall, synonymous with making the Den a difficult place to come, but it's actually, if you want to try and pinpoint what let us down to not maybe match Ipswich, which is 80, 84, 85 points, it was the home form. So the away form is brilliant. It's the best in the league. And I think what Alex Neil has done is he's installed that kind of really difficult, hard to beat mentality away from home, but also scoring goals. We scored 35 goals on our travels this season, which is pretty solid. Can you read too much into it? I'd like to say yes, because if you can then get a result or get a draw in the first leg, but then Hull have gone to each of our 4 teams and
I was
won.
just going to make that point.
How on earth do you? How on? So it's so tough. But from a neutral perspective, that's what makes you two sitting there with your oh, who cares, big grins. This is why you're going to love these watch-alongs.
How do you feel about the away leg and home leg in particular, Will? Obviously, we've mentioned Hull's amazing away record there.
I was going to say our away record's probably better than our home record as well. And I think that's because it suits us. We're better when we're on the counter and sort of lie deep defensive and play. I mean, our games away at Southampton, it was very defensive and we got away with it. And same at Middlesbrough, they were very tight games.
That's how you win the playoffs, Will. They're not normally 4-3s.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
That's the way it's done normally.
But in recent weeks, that's been chipped away a bit.
And in fact,
it's a knockout competition.
Sorry to jump in, Will. The team with the best away record has won 9 of the last, I can't even add that up, since the championship began, 21 years, I think that is. 9 of the last 21 winners have had the best away record. So that would be Millwall going into this in terms of the league table. But the head-to-heads are very, very important. Got a few more stats we'll touch on soon. Are you happy then that they're this way around? You've got the home leg first and then the away leg?
Maybe because our away form is better, but I think when you always want the second leg as your home side because you want to be coming into your home. You want to be coming into your home knowing what you need realistically, and the way that the atmosphere was on Saturday, it'll be the same on Friday. And if they're coming into that atmosphere, I'd like it to have been the other way around. But that's why third and fourth rightly get the advantage on that point.
I don't know if you were there, Chris. Sorry, Simon. It was kind of like a playoff game at the Den. I was there at a game between Millwall and Fulham at the back end of 17-18. It was frightening, Simon, the atmosphere in there. Absolutely white hot.
And we need to recreate that. I think that's when we're at our best. And, being honest, I think that's when we're unique. I know that's probably every club thinks you're unique, but I think anyone that's been to the Den and heard that wall of noise will know what it can be like. Apparently
the longest one ever was at Wembley in the last playoff final.
How long was it?
20 minutes.
20-minute meal at the playoff final.
Yeah, if you fancy not having a voice. But I think for me, we need to actually flip back to that, because what has happened in the last few home games is because you've had this possible chance of finishing second, there's been a bit of a nervous atmosphere. Purely because it's like, oh God, if we just have won this game or just have won that game. So what we now need to do is flip the script and be like, right, we are in the playoffs. We'd have all taken it at the start of the season. What an incredible season. Now let's go and give the lads everything they deserve to try and get over the line, which we'll see if it's enough.
And you finished in a really good place in the playoffs as well. We know that third and fourth have dominated the playoff spend in recent years, and potentially we'll see that continue here. In fact, that's a good question for you all. Do you think that third and fourth this season, Millwall and Southampton, are that far ahead of the rest of the pack, or are you boys in fifth and sixth actually feeling a bit more confident?
Yeah, I think this could be the season where them trends are maybe upset a little bit, to be honest. I could make an argument for Hull beating Millwall. I could make an argument for us beating Southampton. Recent years, you've seen teams in third, fourth being upwards of high 80s, upwards of even 90 plus points. So I absolutely think it could be anyone's. And going back to what we were saying about Hull preferring to be maybe at home first or second leg and whether it matters, I think it could apply to us as well. We've got a very good away record. We've only lost one in our last 10 away games. I think since we lost on New Year's Day to Derby, our only away defeat was at Coventry. We arguably should have won at Ipswich, whether you want to discuss that penalty decision or not. That's a hot topic. We should have won at Swansea, a very good home side, gave away 2 silly penalties. So I think our away form is really good, and we could probably say as well we're probably more comfortable away from home at the minute than we are at the Riverside. So if we can take anything back to St Mary's, I don't think for us it's a case of the home leg's a must win. We'd obviously want to win it, we'd like to win it, but if we go back to St Mary's with something, even if it's a draw, I think we would back ourselves in an open game to still find a way of winning that second leg. So, it's interesting. I think there's an argument that it could be anyone's.
I think we do have on paper, Ben, and I mean no disrespect to Hull and Millwall here, but we've got one unsexy semi-final on paper and one very sexy semi-final on paper. This stylistic matchup between Hull and Millwall in particular, I can't call it. It's going to be so tough to call.
It's great, isn't it? I mean, you're going to get some people who probably might find the whole Millwall game a little stoic for the first 30 to 60 minutes, but you never know. And all it takes is for one set play to fly in after 5 minutes and that game gets loose. Given some of the football we've seen Middlesbrough and Southampton play, that could, in the second leg, because we know what playoff semis are like, and the managers will be saying, don't lose this in the first leg. You can't win it in the first leg, but you can certainly give yourself a mountain to climb. And it's only in recent years we've seen teams be able to come back from a defeat in the first leg and go and turn it around, particularly in an away game in the second leg. But I was kind of thinking, maybe it's one for Martin, that it might be tougher for Southampton if they'd had to go through both Millwall and Hull, whereas they might actually prefer the matchup against Middlesbrough.
Yeah, no, I'd rather have Middlesbrough over 2 legs, without a question. To go and play, I think Millwall and go to the Den would, it's just no disrespect to the Riverside. I just think to go to the Den, we've really struggled there when we've gone there. It's just the atmosphere is so intense, and we kind of buckled a bit when we went there late on. We lost late, didn't we? When we went there, I think it was
3-2.
It was 3-2, really late in the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Totally agree.
I think it's a very interesting point. I think actually the Riverside was bouncing for our playoff semi-final there a couple of years ago. One of the best atmospheres I've ever heard. Obviously, Middlesbrough ended up losing that game anyway. I want to come to managers. Jakirovic and Neil, other way around, Neil and Jakirovic. You must really fancy your chances with him at the helm in terms of having been there and done it before, which I don't think any of the other managers have done in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's got a new name. It's Sir Alex Neil. He's. Do you know what? Like, I can't sing his praises enough, because we'll certainly discuss. I'm sure all of the benefits to having all of these different types of managers in this setup, but to have a manager that has been here, got the T-shirt and won it, I think can only bode well for us. I think when you look at what he's achieved in the last, he's now been with us sort of 18 months. It's absolutely phenomenal. And you always talk about this, Ben, in terms of consistency. If you actually look at the players, they haven't changed that much, but he's just got more and more and more out of them. So yeah, I think he'll be fantastic. But what I would say is, I think I've been incredibly impressed with Sergei Jakirovic as well. Oh, yeah. So, it's very, very difficult to call. And I think he's done a tremendous job. And I think both were quite rightly voted for the Championship Manager of the Year. Yeah, 3 of the 4 nominees for the Championship Manager of the Year sat around this table. In the playoffs. What about Jakirovic for you? Because I know we've spoken about him before, Will, but the biggest overachievement of the season by a mile.
Oh, absolutely. You're saying Sir Alex Neil. I'm saying King Sergei. Because that man has completely just turned the club around completely on his own, pretty much. The way that we've gone from being quite a relatively dour, like heavy passing out from the backside, to a chaotic sort of counter-attack, all guns blazing, sort of Kevin Keegan-esque football, is ridiculous. And because he's a complete unknown, you have no idea what you're going to get when he comes into it, and it's just such a breath of fresh air. It's like the Lillibury, I suppose, last season with Sunderland. But he should have won Manager of the Season, as far as I'm concerned. I think with what he had to deal with, he had the biggest job, and not being able to spend a single penny taking over a side that's still mostly the side that didn't do anything last season. It's ridiculous.
Go on, Chris, get your numbers out. How much have Hull City actually spent this season? Go on, I know you've done the research.
£0. Not written down or anything.
All I would say is you've got to look beyond just the transfer fees and look at wages and agent fees.
Good players already there as well.
And good players already there. No, look, I think McBurney's the signing of the season. But all I would say to you is you don't sign McBurney with no money. Something has to have changed. So, but look, I think Hull have done an incredible job. They are quite rightly the story of the season. But I think I'm just hoping that Alex Neil and his adaptability, we'll talk about the styles of play. I think styles of play of these two teams are quite similar. They're both what I would say heavy transition counter-attacking sides.
Man to man.
So it's going to be one of those where it's like, you have the ball. No, you have the ball. and whoever can adapt to that style, I think is going to be the team that comes out on top.
Do you not think, Simon, when you look at these 4 managers, in terms of tournament football, it's actually these two are like process managers that play the beautiful football that maybe in a league campaign can whack out 80, 90 goals. But how many times have we said, how did Millwall nick that game? How did Hull nick that game? We've even done it against each other, as we were discussing. So maybe over 2 legs there, but maybe in a one-off tournament game, you want those two. I don't know what.
And I think that's jump in there. I think that's what makes the semi-finals such good matchups this year, because you maybe wouldn't want you two playing each other and you two playing each other, but the fact we're going to get one of Hull or Millwall in the final against one of Southampton and Middlesbrough means that final is still going to be so hard to judge, even though there'll be an obvious favourite. I think. Would you reckon, Mike?
Yeah, no, I do. I think it'd be. I'd rather play Millwall in a final. Without a shadow of a doubt, over 2 legs,
Wembley,
on a neutral ground, bigger pitch, and the same with Hull. I just think on a bigger pitch with the football we want to play, we could open up the field, and we've been there, seen it, and done it a couple of weeks ago, and know we've lived that pressure of playing against one of the best teams in the Premier League in Man City. The pressure on the players that day, but they dealt with it really well. We've been in some really big moments this year and dealt with big moments. And I kind of would prefer us to go and play one of those.
How has the FA Cup semi-final impacted Southampton? Because I was a little bit concerned it might be a distraction, too much energy, big pitch, heavy beating. As it went on, you nearly beat Man City.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like you've had too much of a setback from them.
Yeah, Tondra, the players, would talk about it as it's been great for them. It's helped them. This kept momentum going. To have Arsenal at St Mary's, not just to nick it, we outplayed them for long periods of the game. Tactically, he had it spot on. The fans were amazing. I've got to say, under the lights at St Mary's, I'm so happy we got the second leg at home, because I think that's a massive advantage to us. Under the lights at St Mary's, it will be rocking down there. We saw what happened when we played West Brom down there. Well, what happened against Arsenal was just, I can't describe how good it was. And the way we were prepared to take risks, the way we went about our business, but the fans as well become that 12th man. And they were really, really good. Really, really good. I think it's a big advantage being at home.
Should I throw it to you quickly as well? Because it does feel like Hellberg has created a really good team and they create a lot of chances, but they don't always take the chances. And I think that's where tournament football, do you think it suits Hellberg? Do you think Boro will be all right?
I think in terms of the way we play, we should do enough to win both games. We create enough chances. It's never been a problem under Kim Hellberg, but his creativity, even in the barren spell to which we were losing 1-0 at home to Bristol City, that's a 96th minute dagger at the end when we've dominated the game, missed chance after chance after chance. It's the same against Charlton, same against Leicester, same against Oxford. I could go on and on and on. 30 shots in one game, 20 shots in another game. So creatively, I think we're fine. I think in terms of defensive numbers, XG against numbers, we're still right up there. I think taking on from Edwards, he's maintained that. We're still defensively extremely solid. It is both boxes, which is why I went back to the point I discussed earlier about the additions Southampton have made. It depends on which Borough turn up on the day. Luckily of late, it's been better in both boxes, especially going forward. We've got Tommy Conway, 5 goals in 6. David Strelets, 3 goals in 4. Whittaker's hit 3 in 3. So if a ruthless Middlesbrough, ruthless Kim Hellberg Middlesbrough turns up, I think we can beat anybody. Absolutely.
What about a classy central midfielder? Is he going to be around?
We don't know, Ben, and that's the problem. There's a real ambiguity around Hayden Hackney's injury at the minute, which unnerves me. I think when there's uncertainty around an injury, there's no real time scales. You're just waiting for news. It doesn't usually fill me with confidence. I think if I'm honest, we might see him in the squad for maybe the first or second leg of the push. But if you want a fully fit Hayden Hackney at his best, we're probably looking at the playoff final, which you've got to make the playoff final first, haven't you?
Certainly want to keep an eye on.
Simon, can I just quickly jump in? We've debated about the lack of domination of the parachute teams this year. I know we've got one in there. How good are these managers as well? There's a reason why we're not getting that dominance anymore. And the standard of, these teams and these managers in the Championship is just elevating year on year, isn't it?
Even had Wrexham and Derby been in there, John Eustace and Phil Parkinson, what tremendous jobs they've done to kind of elevate themselves up. And Leicester obviously struggled, but we've seen such overachievements from so many teams, I think, this season. Right, back to Hull Millwall. What's the biggest strength of Hull's side right now, and how do they win this tie? How does it look for you, Will?
Ollie McBurney. It's Ollie McBurney.
That's it.
Ollie McBurney. He's just such a talisman for the side at the moment. He's got 5, I think, in the last 5 games as well. He's such a threat. He got a bit of time out of the goal scoring recently, but he's managed to pick himself back up. And when he puts in a performance like he did in the Norwich game, like he had said during the week that they were going to be, to our local radio, that it was going to be fireworks, and he went and showed that when he got on the pitch. And I think, going forward at counter-attacking and getting the ball to McBurney is the main strength of us. To be honest.
You scared of McBurney?
I'm not scared. I don't think that's the right word. Millwall not scared of anything, Simon. But is he a quality player? Yeah. Is he the sign of the season? Yeah. Would I welcome him in our first 11? Yes. But scared, no. I think I've admired what Hull have achieved this season. I think I know we talked about McBurney, but I really like Bloomy.
Fantastic.
I like Miller, Joseph Gelhardt. So I think you've got two.
Taylor fit, Chris? Is he going to be back?
I don't think so. And this is where having to play Tristan Crammer at centre back instead of right back, I think, can hinder us a little bit. But it just means that Mr. Femi Aziz has to step up. And against Oxford, he put in one of his best performances this season. He was phenomenal. We've joked before, haven't we, about he's just going to cut in on his left hand side. Well, guess what? He goes on the right and smashes it in the top corner. So I think for us, our key strength are players like Femi Aziz. I think on his days, the best forward player in the league, in my opinion. And the camaraderie of the group. And I know it's easy to say, but you've only got to listen to Alex Neil talk about a very straight talking Scotsman talk about just how close knit this group is. And I'm hoping that gives us what we need to see us over the line.
How do Millwall cope with being favourites here? Because Hull are the underdogs, even probably with the away leg. And this is where I see Millwall potentially having more of the ball, and maybe that doesn't necessarily suit them. How do you cope with being favourites for a playoff semi-final?
Yeah, I think it's a really good question. And
thanks, man.
It's that was me basically pausing to give a good answer. But no, I think for us, Alex Neil's worked really hard to kind of drum out this underdog mentality anyway. He doesn't like that. We're not underdogs. We don't just get in there because we're, unfashionable Mill. We're in there on merit. So I think that will help us in that kind of first leg in terms of against Hull away from home. And then I think at home, we have to set up to kind of blow it out of the park. Like we said earlier, we have to set up in a way that just puts the pressure on Hull straight away. And then if we get to the final, I'd argue we're not favourites. So it's just about getting through
so you do
these
like
two
being
games.
The underdog, really?
Personally, I do. Sir Alex doesn't. But yeah, it's...
The odds would agree with you there, by the way. It's Southampton, then Middlesbrough favourites to get promoted, then Millwall, then Hull.
Yeah, I think all right, we finished third, right? And,
That's crazy, isn't it? You finished third, and so often we've seen the team finish third be the favourites in the playoff. And yet, you're kind of being undercooked, I think. Personally,
I don't mind it. Because again, you spoke there about the glamorous tie, the sexy tie, and you talked about, the fact that Wrexham aren't in it and, certain producers would be annoyed. Mill are in it. And do you know what? I would argue that any neutral fan on the last game of the season would have preferred Millwall have finished second over Ipswich.
Agreed.
I'm not neutral, so I can't.
For your perspective, Will, how do Hull win this tie in terms of playing the first game at home? Do you think you need to win the first leg, or are you not that bothered?
I think we need to get out with the first leg without a defeat, definitely, just because of our away records. And I think being even more so the underdogs probably helps us out completely, because I don't think anyone expects us to get, not even to this point, but any further. So everything, there's no pressure really on
11-point gap as well.
Yeah, there's no pressure on us really to go out there, and we know what Hull City can do. They can be absolutely smashed for 90 minutes, have like 4 XG against them, and win it 1-0.
Yeah,
and I think that's going to be the mentality going into it. It's kind of like, well, we know that we're so unpredictable, anything can happen.
I thought of another answer to your question.
Yeah,
I think we've dealt with pressure as well this season. We've gone to Middlesbrough and won. We've gone to Ipswich and got a point. We came to your place, dominated the game and somehow lost. So we've shown at big times, in big seasons, in big moments against good teams that we can show up. So that is how we're going to deal with being the favourites.
We've done the double over Southampton, beaten all of you away from home. I had 2-0 draw to Coventry and probably should have won the second one of them. So when we've had to turn up, we've had to turn up.
It's so interesting, isn't it? I'm still making my mind up between your arguments as we're going to do our score
very
predictions.
convincing.
I mean, I think both of us are no idea what's going to happen, really.
No.
We're going to save our score predictions to the end of the show just to make sure you keep watching, basically. Do you think there's an underrated player in either of your sides that should be one to watch that maybe, we've talked about the big stars. Is there an underrated player that you think could decide the semi-final?
Yeah, Kamil Negley. I think where we've had to... Teams have started to work out Femi Aziz and they just double up on him. Well, therefore you need somewhere else that you can, play the ball to that enables you to open up teams from a different perspective. And Kamil Negley has been phenomenal. He has played in every position except goalkeeper this season. So he's incredibly versatile, covers the most amount of grass in terms of just running yards on the pitch for us, can play with both feet, scored some really important goals. He would be my one to watch for you guys.
Assist against Ipswich in that game.
Yeah, he's a very, very... He was vital in the goal that we scored to get things rolling against Oxford on Saturday. So he's a very, very, very good player and one to watch for sure.
Ivanovic start up front as well?
I'm hoping, with the greatest respect to Mr. Ivanovic, that Coburn's fit. I think, obviously we drew at Leicester. I think if Coburn plays that game, we win. Or if buts and maybes now, it is what it is.
Well, he started, didn't he? Got hurt.
Got hurt and had to come off. Yeah, had like a bit like a dead leg, but on your side sort of thing, on the hip. So I would imagine Alex Neil rested him, felt we could get the job done against Oxford without him, and I'm hoping he's fit and firing for the whole game. So Caleb Taylor, I don't think will be back. But other than that, I think Billy Mitchell came on, Alfie Doughty came on, Will Smallbone came on. So yeah, getting some vital legs into some of the key players from a squad game perspective. So,
And an underrated player to watch for you, Will.
Probably Carl Joseph. He's not started enough recently, but his energy off the ball and his energy on the ball, 8 goals this season, playing mainly out wide, even as a striker. And he's got 2 goals against Millwall at the Den this season. So hopefully there's something there.
Very interesting.
Can I throw one in? If this goes to penalties, Mr. Panda in goal has a very good record, and he might become very rated 210 minutes into this tie, yeah?
It's interesting because I think this season most City fans would say he's had a mixed season. I mean, last season he got Player of the Year for us. But I think really this season he's been very mixed. And it's because he's a great shot stopper and he can command his ball area well, and he's got a good penalty record. But his distribution, which is a key asset for us, it's not good. It's not good. But on his day when he turns up, he's a fantastic shot stopper. And like I said, penalty record's great. So hopefully, if it does go to that, I hope it doesn't, it's the advantage. Yeah,
Please
mate, we can't deal with that.
Give me the penalties.
We'll be asleep by that point. Right, let's turn our attention to Middlesbrough versus Southampton. We will do our score predictions for Hull Mill at the end of the video. I've called it a sexy semi-final. Matt,
It's disrespectful.
what do
shocking.
people are sexy in different ways? Is all I'm saying. What do you make of the previous meetings between you? Because there was that big win for Boro earlier in the season, January time, wasn't it? And then the 1-1 draw. Take anything from them?
Well, I think it's very difficult to take anything from the initial game because we both had different managers. We played an absolutely completely different style of play with Rob Edwards at the helm compared to Kim Hellberg. As for the second game at the Riverside, I think it was an interesting time for Southampton. You see, we were playing different system, different formation. I think Eckhart was still going through a couple of streaky results at the time. I think we just blew Southampton away in the second half, and that's what Middlesbrough are capable of. We're streaky not only from game to game, in a run of form, going winless runs, winning runs. We're also quite streaky in games as well, and I think we can have spells where if it clicks, we can just put 2, 3, 4 past aside, and that's exactly what happened at the Riverside. So yeah, it's difficult. I think we've been fairly consistent with Hellberg since he came in terms of chance creation, and what we've been doing with the ball. Southampton are maybe a little bit different compared to when we played them at the Riverside. So I think we know what we're probably going to get with Middlesbrough, but I think Southampton are massively improved from when we did play them at the Riverside. So it's a bit of an unknown for us as to what Southampton's going to turn up. I'd be interested actually to see if, for the home leg, if Southampton would come to sit back a little bit, defend. I mean, that's how a lot of sides have got results from the Riverside to good effect, albeit a lot of sides towards the bottom end of the Championship. But, will Southampton come to the Riverside and try and just take something back to St Mary's? Will they try and just play their way, win the game? I really don't know. It could be an open game. Could be a bit of a chess match.
I think you go there to win.
Do you think?
Go there to win. Yeah, I do. Yeah, no. He's got the luxury of a week to prepare for this, and he hasn't had that for a while now because we've been playing Saturday, Tuesday. And that's a big thing about Eka. The players that I talk to, the odd player and people connected to the club, and everyone talks about his attention to detail, how much time he spends on preparation. He prepares the players for every eventuality, and he's got a week to do that. And that will definitely help him. How he's done it in recent weeks to keep the run going has been quite incredible, really. He's got great staff behind him as well. Ben Gardner's come in, is working as his assistant manager as well. I think he's gone under the radar in terms of the credit that he should be getting. He's got a lot of psychologists working within the group as well. The team spirit's been good. Totally different to what we had when we went to the Riverside. Adam Armstrong went. There's a lot of talk that he was maybe an issue in the dressing room. We don't know that for a fact, but he's gone. Ryan Fraser's gone. Gavin Bazuna's gone. The atmosphere in the dressing room seems different. Harwood Bellis, for me, is the one that's really stepped up since then. He's worn the skipper's armband a fair bit, really led by example and started to look like a £30 million player again. He will be crucial in these games. Jack Stevens has had a bit of an injury, so we're a little bit unsure how bad his injury is. Finn Azaz I think he struggled a little bit when we went back to the Riverside.
He struggled with the crowd.
Didn't he have a big tantrum?
I think he got to him a little bit.
The crowd got on his back, and there were clips after the game of him giving it to the South Stand after the game, like they got under his skin.
Yeah,
and I
Ayling
think,
give him a bit back as well.
that's going to be an interesting dynamic as well, because I think Azaz is going to want to come to the Riverside and prove a point.
There's a huge amount of bookmarks on a few tweets.
I would hate. I would just hate
The
from a
script is
Boro.
written.
I'd hate from a Boro perspective to be coming up against a player like that who's produced well for Southampton recently, and you've already given him loads of stick at the Riverside. It just feels rigged.
If there are football gods, if there is such thing, they would have seen what the Boro fans gave to Finn Azaz, and they thought, I'm going to punish you for that because we gave him so much stick, got the better of him. He did throw a bit of a paddy after the game to the South Stand, and I can imagine he's coming at the Riverside full of motivation.
I had the privilege of
good
spending
form.
some time with him last week, actually. I was with the Saints Foundation. They do some really good work in the city. They were doing some bits with men's mental health. And he gave up a bit of his time for Azaz, and I went along with him. It was really good, actually.
Slagging off Borough.
Yeah, it was.
I bet he was.
We were talking about the fixture a little bit, but he's had a bit of a knee injury, and he didn't want to give too much away because his knee's been heavily strapped. He didn't start the game at the weekend, but he's such a thoughtful man. And I really enjoyed the way that he spoke about Eckert as a manager. He spoke about his attention to detail. He spoke about him actually being, his perfect manager. He described him as a good work-life balance as well. And I think for him, he'd be key for us in the playoff campaign. He was good at Wembley. He has little moments where he may go missing. And a lot of Middlesbrough fans told us that when he signed. But on his day, he does things that other players can't do. He's got vision that others don't. His touch and his vision. And if you've got Cienza in your side...
First time you've mentioned him.
I've not mentioned Cienza yet.
What's that?
My favourite player.
That is so going.
He is like he's off the boil a little bit at the moment. He's not quite maybe had the levels he's had in recent weeks, but in the big games, I usually find he finds a level. Against Arsenal, he did it. Against Fulham, he did it.
Oh, he was decent against Ipswich in that 2-2 as well. Yeah.
He could just pick the ball up, and he's a really difficult. A lot of teams double up on him. I don't know if Boro will look to do that. Be interesting to see if they do double up on him. Yeah. But then you've got Fellows that's come back into the side, and he looks like he's starting to find a bit of form. Yet to score, not scored since the final day of the Championship campaign last time round. So he's gone a year without scoring. It's written for him to net somewhere. He had a huge amount of chances at the Riverside. Yeah, and he put 2 over, didn't he? 2 really good chances. He's still not opened his account. So I've been intrigued to see if he starts in the game, because he's kind of been on the fringes in recent weeks, but. Yeah, I'm really excited for the games. Really excited.
2 relatively inexperienced managers, I think we have to say, certainly compared to Alex Neil. Who do you think's done a better job, Ben?
Oh, crikey.
Does it depend on promotion? If
I guess, so far the difficult thing is we've gone with Hellberg from, man, who is this guy? Look at the football they're playing, to, they've collapsed. So there's that problem. Eckert, you'd have to probably just give the edge at the moment on the unbeaten run, but then I'm sure Matt would turn back and say, well, look at the squad he's got to work with, and it was an underachievement. But I think 2 things can be true. I think it was an underachievement, and he's done an absolutely brilliant job. The thing I can't get my head around, Simon, is I just can't see how this can be a slugfest from the beginning, and both these teams who irresistible attacking forces. I think the 2 best games I've seen this season have been Middlesbrough at Sheffield United and Southampton versus Ipswich. So in your dream scenario, this is absolute, utopian football. That never happens in the playoff semi-final, definitely not in the first leg.
We're going to get Hull 4, Millwall 3 and Southampton 0, Boro 0.
Surely, and I really think both of these sides, even though they're really good at controlling games, they're both really ruthless transition sides. Yeah. So as much as Martin's saying, I think they go there for the win, surely there's going to be a bit of a chess match for 30 minutes between 2 very cerebral football managers. It's going to be fascinating watch. I just can't see it being, 2 heavyweights just throwing haymakers from the word go. It can't be, can it?
The last half an hour of the second leg, I think we might see something like that. I'm with you in terms of I cannot see this being a 3-3, but everything on paper from both of these teams scream. 82 goals scored for Southampton. What do you reckon, Mike?
I think the first thing could be intriguing, because when we went into the playoff campaign last time around with Russell Martin, we went to the Hawthorns. We just found a little bit of form. We were really good at Leeds. We were proper win at Leeds, transitioned well, scored goals and looked really good that day. Then we went to the Hawthorns. The pitch was a bit dry. They'd not watered it a great deal. It was a bit long. The ball didn't roll the same. It was a warm day. And we just about walked away with a draw. And we got on back to St Mary's, wet pitch, Russell Martin ball, played some great stuff on the night and beat West Brom late. It didn't really get going till after half time. From what I remember that fixture, it didn't. The fixture all come alive in the final 45 minutes of the second leg. I'm not sure it'd be like that in this game.
And that's the key point. The tie's 180 minutes, Simon.
Yeah.
You'd have to win the first
You
leg.
can win it in the 179th minute.
I've got a question for all four of you, actually. Do you have preferences for the other semi-final? It's quite difficult for you two because you're playing first, but have you got a preference in Southampton or Middlesbrough to win this semi?
Yeah, I mean, I think my point of view is, and I've said this from day one, is the team you want to avoid is Southampton. And I would have said that in any scenario, again, whether it's semi-final, final. So does it mean I think we can beat Boro? No, I'm not suggesting that for a second, but I think that Southampton are the team to avoid.
Is that form, squad, coming down from the Premier League? What is it?
It's just a bit of everything. But the one thing I would say is that one of the things I've been really impressed on, and you touched on this earlier, is you've had two players for every position. So you can kind of, when you've had the Saturday, Tuesday, you've been able to rotate. When a one-off game, that doesn't actually matter. Yeah. Especially when you look at the time difference between the semi-final and the final. So
nearly 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah. So in a one-off game, does that squad depth matter as much? Of course, you need options from the bench, but it's not quite the same. And I'd interested to hear.
What about you, Will?
I'm not sure which one I'd prefer because, like I say, anything going forward is a bonus for us, I feel. But I mean, we have beaten Southampton twice this season, so maybe we've got a hoodoo on them. But either way, it's going to be a great match if we get there.
And to flip that, are you looking at Hull and thinking you want them to go through or not that bothered?
I'm not too bothered, to be honest. I mean, I'd have said the same, avoid Southampton, but here we are. Couldn't do that on the final day. My eyes lit up when we were third at one point. Derby was sixth. I thought, this is great, but alas, we're fifth.
Could have just finished second. It would have solved
well,
everything.
Wouldn't that have just been easy? Yeah. Had we beaten Charlton at home. I don't really have a preference. I find Hull a little unpredictable. I feel like they could, on their day with individuals, we've talked about McBurney. There's loads of great match winners, I would say, in your side who I think on a one-off game could win a playoff final. I'd probably say Millwall. There's pros and cons to that. I mean, Alex Neil's playoff record is a joke. And I'm still suffering a bit of PTSD.
Yeah, who did he beat in the final in 15, yeah?
I was going to suggest that, Ben. Yeah, I think he also went with Sunderland in League One. And did he go Swickham. Hamilton Academical in Scotland via the playoffs as well?
Okay, it's good research there. That's why you tune into this show. That is unbelievable.
He's 3 from 3 in the playoffs from what I'm aware, and that just gives me a little bit of PTSD. But on a big pitch with a lot of space at Wembley, Hellberg's big on space. How we use it, we're really good, I think. On a big pitch, I think it will suit us. And I would say when we did play Millwall on Good Friday, we probably should have had the game won in the first half. Credit to you guys. Second half, you were fantastic. Similarly to what happened the week before against Ipswich. As soon as we weren't up at half time, I worried for us second half, and you guys came strong and won that game. But I think we could beat Millwall on a big pitch at Wembley. Hull, I'm not too sure. I think Hull are a little bit more of an unknown quantity. And it would be very typical of Middlesbrough to play the sixth place side at Wembley and find a way of not winning.
Well, you Martin, any Millwall or Hull preference? Or we are throwing this ahead, by the way. I know it's a bit harsh of me to ask a question about the final.
I look at our fixture against Middlesbrough, and they're the team. I think they're a good side, and out of all the sides, I would probably prefer to potentially avoided Boro. But yeah, out of the two, probably Millwall, to be honest. A gut feeling. Yes, Hull beat us twice. We got a draw at St Mary's against Millwall, but I just think Millwall, the fans, I just think the fans become so important in these games. I'm not saying that the Hull fans are not like the Millwall fans. I just know what Wembley would be like. You just know what it'd be like. It'd be mega tough, and I think you make it difficult for us. And I think you've probably got a few more threats. And probably
Martin, I think the fans have more of an influence in the semi than they do in the final, don't they? Because Wembley can quiet down a little bit.
And how many tickets they sell as well, isn't it? To corporate as well. That's a big. It's a big good point.
But if you're in one half of the bowl, you can't hear the other half, and I don't know how it is for the players down there, but in a semi-final,
I'd rather have Millwall in a one-off game than a two-legged semi-final. I think I wouldn't want to go at the Den in a playoff game. I think he'd make it extremely difficult for us. I think neutral ground, big pitch. I'd rather play Millwall in a one-off game than 2 legs, personally.
Yeah,
And
I
only
agree
one of
with
these
that.
games is not a night game, which is interesting.
Yes, Saturday 12:30 was the.
It sucks that. Yeah.
That is a negative.
I'd rather have the 6th place Friday night game.
Yeah,
I think the
100%.
atmosphere that generates
I agree with you, Matt.
even more. I'd
a good
rather
point.
have
Really
the
good
Friday
point.
night game.
Yeah.
But then again,
The-
it's a nightmare for the Southampton fans getting up to Middlesbrough on 12:30 on a Saturday as well, isn't it? So it's not ideal for either of us.
For the
games.
Coventry Middlesbrough semi-final at the CBS a few years ago, that was lunchtime kickoff. Atmosphere was pretty poor, and it was 0-0.
Mark Robbins
Nothing
special,
there.
that was,
Mark
wasn't it?
Robbins, let's forget about football for 90 minutes and
Yeah.
just try and do it again. In
I
a few
remember it
days'
well.
time.
I remember it well, Simon.
Key players to watch out for both of you. Quickly, Martin. Let's start with you.
Key player, well, I've spoken about already, that Cienza's key. Absolutely vital. But the one that's gone under the radar massively is Yanda. Casper Yanda, the midfielder. He's brilliant against Man City. Ball winner in midfield. He's got stronger and stronger. Good on the ball. Distributes it well. And his pass completion rate's excellent. And he's prepared to take risks. I think he is the one to watch for Saints without a shadow of a doubt. He's been our best player
Martin
in
is
the
also
last 2
his
games.
agent.
Yeah. To be fair, his agent's been quite busy recently because there's a lot of links with him and moves. Apparently, he's a little bit unsettled back in Christmas time, missing his family. But he's definitely found form at the right time. Eckett spoke about it a lot in recent weeks. He's had to step up because Flynn Downs has been suspended for the
Is
last.
he back for the semis?
He's back for the semis, yeah. So that's a big plus for us. So it gives him a headache in midfield because you've got Yanda, Downs, and Charles. And Shay Charles has scored late minute, last second winners, left, right, and centre. So I think he's got big decisions in midfield. Young Cameron Bragg, 21, he's been awesome. So the options in midfield are really key.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
how
a good
about for
players to
Boro
choose
then?
from.
Obviously, is it more about Riley McGree now than Hayden Abbey not going to be fit?
Yeah, Riley McGree's a big one. We've just got him back fit in time. He's a really, really clever player. Riley McGree's fantastic at picking up pockets of space, really good on the ball, really creative. He's a goal threat as well, which I think maybe doesn't get as much attention as his creativity does. But we've got him. I think Morgan Whittaker, when he's on form, again, he's a bit of a streaky player, but he went through an unbelievable run early in the season, 6 goals in 6 games. He's our top goal scorer. We've definitely benefited having him back in the team. And if he's on it, he's a really, really good threatening player in the attacking part of the pitch. And then, as I say, we've got forwards who are finally starting to put their chances away, and they've sort of came together at the perfect time. Tommy Conway's had a very, very good end of the season.
What will the starting configuration be up top?
Well, Hellberg doesn't really believe in formations. Players
That's a simpleton like me.
the players are just very fluid. In possession, I would say Tommy Conway drifts out to the left-hand side.
Strellick will start.
Strellick will start. I think he's found finally a way of getting them both into the team and them playing relatively at their strengths. David Strellick I've loved him since he came to the football club. I think he's a fantastic footballer. We've just not really seen it until now, but he's such a great sort of false nine. He'll drop in, he'll link up play. He's really good with the ball at his feet, but he started to deliver the goals as well, and got in some really good positions. Scored a really good goal against Wrexham. Early cross in on the shoulder, the defender, good finish. So we've got forwards, finally, who are in form, having missed chances and been super wasteful for a long periods of the season. And they're in form at the same time. So we've got Whittaker, Strellick, Conway in good form. Aidan Morris as well has been fantastic since Hayden Hackney has dropped out the side. He sort of took on, he can't quite take on the same responsibility as Hayden Hackney because he's a different level of player in terms of his ball carrying. But Aidan Morris has stepped up. He's been a little bit more creative. He's drove with the ball a bit more from midfield, but he's also really good at breaking up play and good defensively. We might stick him on Finn Azaz, possibly, to marshal him. But Aidan Morris has been an unsung hero, I think, since Hackney's absence.
Matt Targett as well, ex-Saints left back. He was good against us when we come to the Riverside. Is he fit?
Yeah, he's been playing through a couple of injuries, but I think he is fit now.
It's a threat.
He's probably our only left-back option at the moment. I mean, I'd actually prefer Alex Bangura as a left-back in terms of an attacking left-back. Matt Targett's a bit more reserved, but his delivery and his final ball can be real quality. He set up a great goal at the weekend. And yeah, he did play well against you guys. So I think if you want a good balance in a playoff semi-final of having someone who can maybe keep eyes on, whether you've got attacking down the right-hand side.
His hands full of fellows. For sure.
Yeah, and also giving us that quality in the final third and from set pieces. I think Matt Targett is a good option. He's experienced as well.
Right, we're going to have a bit of fun now. I want you to each look down the barrel of your camera, Martin. We'll start to you and answer the question, why is your team going to win the playoffs? Give me 10, 15, 20 seconds on it, down the barrel of the camera.
Tonderecker, he's superb. His tactical analysis on games is tremendous. I just feel with him at the helm, the home form has been superb. Cienza, Fellows, Azaz, Larin, and a great goalkeeper in Daniel Peretz. I think we have everything that it takes to get it over the line. I really do.
Chris, why are Millwall going to win the playoffs?
Yeah, well, on this show, we've talked about the Millwall fans being a factor. We've talked about Alex Neil being a factor. But again, no one gives the players the credit they deserve. So there's a reason we have 3 players in the Championship team of the season. And that is why we are going to go all the way. Over 2 legs, it's going to be a difficult one. And in a one-off 90-minute game, we can beat anyone on our day. So that's why you're going to see, as I know you all want, Millwall in the Premier League next season.
Will, why are Hull City going to win the playoffs?
Well, for those who don't want Millwall in the Premier League next season, Sergej Jurkovic, the man, the best manager in the Championship as far as I'm concerned, Ollie McBurney, one of the best strikers in the Championship, and the numbers don't favour us, and that's exactly why you should go for us, because we're the most unpredictable side.
Love it. And finally, Boro, why are they going up?
Middlesbrough are going to go up because you don't spend 217 days, and yes, I've counted them, in the top 2 without being a very, very good side. And since Kim Hellberg has came in, we've maintained our strong defensive platform and have improved in every single attacking metric. And I think on our day, if it all clicks, Boro have a higher ceiling than any of the other 3 sides in the playoffs. So if we play to our maximum and we're ruthless, I think we win the playoffs.
Very good stuff. Right, it has come to the time of the show, lads, where we need to do our score predictions. Who plays in the final and who is going up? You don't have to say your own team, by the way. I know you've just had a bit of fun there. Ben, we need to decide this as well, mate. It's very, very, very difficult. Let's start with Hull versus Millwall. I presume you're back in your own team, though, Chris.
Of course, yeah. You've got to, haven't you? I think what I would say is, and I've said this to Will before, genuinely, and no disrespect, I hope whoever wins this leg goes up, because I think it'd be more fun, and I love an underdog and something a little bit different going on.
Definitely gone 180 on the underdog thing.
Yeah, the underdogs, and then I can't remember
He wasn't
anymore.
an underdog 10 minutes ago, was he?
Surely, where are the underdogs in this
don't
one?
like us as an underdog.
Not 2 underdogs.
But no, I think you've got to back your team. I think if we can get a draw at the MKM, I'll go with a Desmond. I can't see. It's been
wow.
There's been 4 goals in the last 2 games, so you know I think both teams will want to come away with a positive score from that game, and then a cagey 1-0 win maybe at the Den. I don't know. That's the little picture I painted in my head.
I can see it. I can see it for sure. Will, what about you? What are you predicting?
As the actual underdogs in this tie, I have no idea how to call it. I mean, I won't be surprised if it's another 2 3-1 reverses and it goes all the way to spot kicks. I hope it doesn't. I agree with you. I think the first leg, a draw is probably a good shout. I think because both sides will be trying to work each other out properly. And I think it will come down to the away leg for us. And we're better away from home than we are at home. So hopefully I'm going to say 2-1 to us.
Okay, very interesting. And how do you boys see the Hull Millwall tie? If you had to pick a winner right now, what are you going for, Mike?
I'm going to go with Millwall.
Okay.
I think Millwall will edge it.
How about you?
Aziz is so good. He's one of the best wingers I've seen this
He's
year
unbelievable.
by a mile.
Yeah, I think the home leg at the Den, I think, will be decisive. And if being second as well, I think it's really important. So I would go Millwall. Yeah.
Ben, it's over to us now, mate.
Yeah, I think it could be level at the 90-minute mark, but I'd agree with Matt. I'd go with Millwall maybe on the basis of the home leg. I just want to say these words again. We didn't get a penalty shootout last year. We probably should have, Simon, shouldn't we? But surely there's going to be a penalty shootout at some point, and it feels like this is the game it would be in rather than the other.
Hopefully not.
If it is a penalty shootout, remember you
We
can
say
watch.
penalty shootout in no time. Sorry.
Well, you can watch us, me and Ben and a few guests as well, watch Hull versus Millwall on Friday night and all the other playoffs. Come back to the Sportsman for that.
What are you saying?
It feels like we keep writing Hull City off. Everyone keeps writing Hull
Yeah, but he
off.
loves it.
And he loves it. And Hull fans love it. And in the comments down below, you can have a go at us because we always write Hull off. But
You can do it
Millwall have proved themselves to be a better team. I think the home leg second is helpful. I think they might lose the first leg and still come back and win. Maybe if it goes to penalties, I'd probably favour Hull.
We don't
I
win
am-
penalty shootouts.
No, I don't want penalties.
I
That's
am
all.
going for Millwall to make the playoff final. So that's 5 out of 6 of us going for Millwall.
Well, that's all right. You've written us of a whole season. What's happened?
Fair.
The tougher one, potentially even to predict, that's got a tough game to be fair. Southampton versus Boro. Martin.
Yeah, it's really tough. I think to go there and get anything out of the game would be vital, not to let them get on top too early, because I think at lunchtime kick-off, your fans are going to be bang up for it. It's their big chance to really get behind their team. I think to walk out of there with a 1-0 victory would be lovely. I don't see. I'm not sure we keep
That low scoring.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be loads of goals in the first leg. I think it will all come down to the second leg at St Mary's. I think that's where it will open up and become a really, really good game of football. Do you think it might be a bit cagey for the first leg?
I don't think it will. I think we'll go for it. I don't think Hellberg knows cagey football, to be honest. I think home or away, we'll just go for it. We play the same way. That's why I was more intrigued as to what you guys might do come to Riverside and how hard you might try to take something back to St Mary's. But
I think it will try.
Yeah, I think we'll edge the home leg, but I mean we've not been great at home for a long time, and that's the slight anxiety. I mean we've picked up 2 wins in our last 2 home games at the end of the season, but the Sheffield Wednesday one was one of the worst 1-0 wins I've ever seen. But then you go and absolutely batter Watford, but I don't know if that's a measure of us or a measure of where Watford are right now. So
they are dreadful.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Watford fans.
Exactly. So we still don't quite know, I guess, how good we are at the Riverside, but we are better against the better sides who will open up the game against us, and that's why I'd be intrigued to see how you approach that one. We've had some big results against some really top sides at the Riverside, so it's going to be interesting, really interesting. I think we'll edge it. I think we'll edge the home leg.
And then,
well, again,
give us some score predictions. Let's get the
2-1 at home. I think.
Yeah.
I think Boro win 2-1 at home. As will probably score. I'd rather get his inevitable goal out the way in the first leg, and then it's done. But as I said, away from home, we are not scared of going anywhere. We went to Birmingham. We were the first team to win it in the league there in 2 years, I think. Fantastic. No, you weren't. First since you guys, I think, did it before.
We beat them this season as well.
Yeah, so we were the 2 in the 2 years. Yeah. I think 40 home games. Away from home, I think it arguably suits us even better, and I think we'll probably draw in the away leg, maybe 2-2. So you're
back in Boro.
You want is that a 4-3 aggregate win for Boro? There's got to be goals, surely.
Mine, give us some score predictions, mate.
I think the home leg, I'm really excited for. Hopefully they'll overwater the pitch this time. We've had loads of games where we've overwatered the pitch. We've had loads of players slipping. I don't know why. It's just been a common theme.
We've had the same, yeah.
The common theme of the last 2 home fixtures.
Yeah.
It's been frustrating. We played some great football at home. The Arsenal game, go back to that, being so good. QPR early on in the season, brilliant. Leicester, West Brom, with some brilliant nights under the lights. I do think there'll be goals. I do think you'll score at St Mary's, but I think Saints will win it 3-1.
So both backing your own
Cole,
teams.
it'd be interesting to see
You're all backing your own teams, which I do respect.
It'd be interesting to see if Larian plays in both the games. He looks like he's going to be the preferred striker because Stewart's played the weekend. I think it will be Larian. He's been good. He's scored 5 goals in his last 5 starts. I mean, 10 since he arrived.
Ipswich was a joke as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant goal.
Unbelievable footwork. Will, who are you backing, Southampton or Boro to make it to the final?
Okay, it's a tough one. Because of the run they're on, it's hard to not look past Southampton, I'll be honest.
No, they do what they have form on the side. It's a fair point.
So I'd probably go for, again, like you say, I think you'll do better in the first leg at home, and I think Southampton will just have the edge in the away leg.
And get through. What about you, Chris?
I think I agree with the point earlier that Boro have got the highest ceiling, and actually I would argue, other than maybe your side, I think even above Ipswich in terms of the ceiling that they've reached at times this season.
Yeah, agree.
But they've had Hayden Hackney at that point. And I think if they don't have Hayden Hackney, so I'm going on that assumption, I can't look past Southampton. I think
He's a huge miss for them.
He's a huge miss for you. Good for you to have Whittaker back, but I just think that based on that, Southampton's form and their versatility with the strength of depth they've got, I would give Southampton just shading it. 3
votes to Southampton so far, Ben. Where are we landing?
Well, I agree with pretty much 99% of everything that was said. If we get peak Middlesbrough, which does, as Chris rightly pointed out, include what Kim Hellberg calls the best player in the league.
He won the award, didn't he? As well?
We were all behind that, weren't we? But from February rolling onwards, and Southampton, I was so pleased to make this about Ipswich for 1 second that we took them out of it on the last day of the season because they were very, very good.
What a game that was.
Very, very recently. So I've got to go with Southampton, Matt. I'm sorry.
Do you know where I'm at with it? And this might sound completely nonsensical.
Come on, Simon.
Southampton can't keep winning games. They can't just win every game in 2026.
They can't.
I think they can. Yeah, exactly. Boro, I was so impressed with them in that 6-game winning run. They were absolutely on fire. I'm going for a Boro progression. I think if you can get anywhere near your heights, I think Southampton will lose a game at some point, and I'm backing Boro to edge it, rightly or wrongly, which means we have to finish, guys, with whoever you've got in the final. I need to hear your playoff winner. Let's start at this end, Yuma.
Be Boro Millwall then. 1-0 Boro. I don't think it would be anywhere near as much of an expansive open game end to end. Millwall would make it incredibly difficult, but we have to get redemption on Alex Neil for 2014-15. We have to. That Norwich defeat still lives long in the memory of Daniel Ayala trying to do a Cruyff turn on the edge of the box, and it's still there in my mind. So I think, the script's written 1-0 Boro beating Millwall on a big pitch at Wembley.
Will, what's your final?
It's all Southampton.
Okay.
So I'm predicting Southampton to absolutely smash it, dominate the entire game, and then us score 1-0 on the counter and get to the Premier League somehow.
Yeah, and we'll have to issue a big apology for writing Hull off more than any other team and then making it to the Premier League. Ben, what's your final then? Southampton Millwall?
I'll just go with the hot hand, Southampton.
Okay, fair enough. It means I've got a Middlesbrough Millwall final. I'm back in Middlesbrough. Go on, no, everyone's right in Middlesbrough.
Always
I
like you,
think.
Simon.
Yeah, exactly. At Wembley, I would back Middlesbrough to win that final as well. Sorry, Chris. What's your final? Millwall?
Millwall Southampton.
Millwall Southampton.
Yeah, so obviously, I think the head says that Southampton would beat us, and it would actually be better for us, as we often do with playoffs. We lose the final and then we go up the next year when we've rebuilt and we'd be better equipped to go up. That's what my head says. My heart says, stuff that. 1-0. Southampton can have 90% of the ball, but Big Jake Cooper will put a statue on, leap in, 85th minute, Bosch 1-0. Most unattractive side to ever be promoted. Who cares?
You've got the same final, Martin, I think.
Yeah, Millwall Southampton final. We went there and did it 1-0 before Adam Armstrong scored the only goal against Leeds. It won't be 1-0 though if we go there, and I think we'll go there and get a couple this time. I'm going to go 2-0 Saints. Big Cole Aaron. Superb. Leo Cienza, top of a wonderful season.
I absolutely love that you've all backed your own team.
Got to back your own team.
Have to
back your own team.
I've backed Boro. Ben's back Southampton. Remember, guys, me and Ben will be back with live streams for every single playoff semi-final right here on the channel. Guys, thank you so much for joining me for today's show. Do wish you all the best of luck, and hopefully you can bring us some major entertainment as we sit down and watch those
penalties.
And some penalties. Ben wants a late night for
No
sure.
penalties.
Please make sure you like and subscribe and stay tuned. Get your comments in the thoughts down below. Who is going to win the playoffs? We want to hear from you, but we will see you on Friday night. See you then.